Hey, Jackson, how's it going, man?
It's going so well, Rob. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's August. We're on our 8th book, and football's starting. That's summer's over, man.
Hey, even preseason football, I'm excited for it. It's just fun to watch guys get out there.
Yeah, it is. It is. I truly enjoy this time of year. It's like summer went way too fast for me, man. So I'm just like, what are you going to do?
You got 2 weeks. Make the most of it.
Taking 2 weeks? I only got 2 weeks left of summer?
Well, till Labor Day. I guess you have until the equinox if you want to be like that, man.
God. All right. This is enough about summer, but this is Books, Beer, and Networking. This is episode number 8. And this book was picked out by Jackson. It is The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gruber. You picked this book out. Why?
I did. This book is very, very special to me, Rob. About 4 years ago, I was having a conversation with one of my managers at my corporate job, and I said, I had a pretty good relationship with him, so I felt comfortable sharing some of this stuff. I'm like, I just don't really feel fulfilled in my role, and I'm really thinking about opening a business, and I think that would be a good idea to own my own business. And he had, in a past life, looked at maybe doing professional speaking, and someone had given him the E-Myth, and he learned about everything that goes into building your business, your branding, delegating, building systems. And he quickly decided because of this book that starting a business wasn't for him. And he was very, very happy with where he was. So he gave me this book, and I think the idea was this should scare Jackson away from actually doing anything crazy like this.
Well, they keep you around, huh?
Right, yeah, exactly. So
read this book, you're not leaving anywhere.
So to be fully transparent, when I first read this book about 4 years ago, it was not an easy read for me. I wasn't familiar with all the verbiage and the processes that are in this book, so it took me a little longer to get through it. But after I was done, I went back in his office and I slid it across his desk, and he said, "Well, what'd you think?" And I said, "I'm sorry this didn't work. I still want to do it." And getting some of that insight, Rob, about the risk and the reward. The entrepreneur, the business owner has, they sweat, but then they have the parade thrown for them, and they have the ability to make an impact on people's lives, on the community. And it really resonated with me as far as, if I'm going to work 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week, I want it to be doing the things that I want to do, and I want it to be doing things that I feel are going to make an impact and leave a legacy that's positive. And so this book really laid the groundwork of, okay, not only is this a good fit, but you can't just jump off a cliff and build the plane. There might be some value in thinking ahead. And one of the things he talks a lot about in this book is working on your business versus in your business. So you want to run with a little bit of what that has meant to you?
Almost definitely. And I see this all the time when I'm out visiting other businesses and talking with them. And, working on your businesses, that's that high-level thinking. Working in your business is doing all those little things that, how do you put them, those $10 an hour action items, those things that you would pay someone to do that you're doing. That's working in your business. And someone put it to me in a way, it was like, if you're cutting your grass, you're a lawn care. If you're doing gardening, you're a landscaper. I mean, some people enjoy those things. I enjoy those things. But it goes along in your business. If you're out there taking reception calls, now you're a receptionist. You're not a business owner. You're working in your business. Working on your business is having those systems and those operations tied in and in place so you can put people in there to do that, so you can look at what's going on in your business and also where you're going. If you're taking calls at the front desk, it's really hard to put a 2 to 3 year plan out there if all you're doing is taking calls all day, or if you're doing accounting, or if you're doing all these other things. And I see a lot of businesses, even today, is like they and I'm guilty of this too, is losing control of what you have within that business by giving things away to other people. They may not be able to do them exactly like you're going to do them, but if I remember correctly, when I was in school, 80% was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I'll take that all day. The other 20%, okay.
And I love this whole story. If you haven't read it, this book is written as a parable. So this is very similar to The Alchemist. We haven't read The Goal, but The Goal is set up like that too, where it's it's a made up story that has a lot of real world action items in it. And one of my favorite parts is toward the end of the book, Rob, where there's those, I think it's two brothers and they're starting a business, and they sit down and draw out the 14 different roles of the business. And, you know, in a world like mine, where I'm the principal and the receptionist and the lawn care person for Elevated Insurance, I'm filling my name in all those roles. And in the book, they go through, okay, well, we obviously can't, like, we have two people, so let's split this up and let's try and balance the workload correctly. But I feel like I've been at a huge advantage in my business because from Jump Street, when I was going into it, I looked at all those roles and said, you know, I have to be this guy at the beginning. My name's got to be in every circle. But since I'm aware of how a business is structured correctly, as I'm moving forward, I can start to identify those $10 an hour jobs, right? Like, I shouldn't be scrubbing my email list. I probably shouldn't be the sole like, maybe I want to be in charge of the overall messaging of my social media, but should I necessarily be the one who's, you know, there Sunday, 11 p.m., getting stuff ready for the next month and posting it on Buffer? Maybe yes, maybe no. But because of this book, it's helped me to understand that that's a role I've chosen and can be outsourced, not that's part of owning an insurance agency.
Right, and you get that. And sometimes when you're starting off in your business, you have to do all those things. So it's not something that something that you want to do or have to do. But at the beginning, sometimes you have to do all that. If you don't have the capital to farm those jobs out, well, until you do, you are. And
I don't want to give too many hints to you budding insurance principals out there. But anyone who's in a solopreneur role, or is thinking about starting there and wants to grow the business, this book has been really, really helpful for me to be thinking ahead and say, okay, when a call comes in or, something comes in from the website and someone wants insurance, I know what to do because I've done this hundreds and hundreds of times over the past 2.5 years. But would someone on the first day know what to do? So it's encouraging me, and, maybe you don't want to make it specific to a piece of software, but understanding that process of when someone comes in, this is how we collect their information. We set an appointment to talk with them. In the appointment, we learn a little bit about them, and then we go through the insurance policy as if they have no idea what they're buying, because most people have no idea what they're buying.
Right.
So we explain the policy. Plenty of times, do you have any questions is interjected in there. After we get to the end, this is the pricing, this is how the payment would work. Is this something you can make a decision on today, or is this something that you want to schedule a time to regroup in? We go from there and we complete the sale. Or we say, hey, you have good coverage where you are. We'll still donate $10 to a for-purpose, and we're here if your friends, family, or down the road if you need us. And as I've read this book, it's really got me thinking about when I'm ready to scale up, and instead of my name being in all 14 circles, maybe now my name's just in 11 circles. I'm writing down tasks and processes in those other bubbles so that when that person shows up on their first day, it's not, well, just watch me and see what I do, but I can hand them, a Word doc or a link or whatever and say, let me know what questions you have, but this should get you started. And I personally feel like it's almost like, in Mario Kart, you get those mushrooms and get a big burst of speed. I feel like this has been really great for helping to plan for the future.
That's awesome. And you need stuff like this in in your life every once in a while. Just kind of remember where you're at, so you don't get caught in that I want to say that repetition of just seeing things through your eyes and your own lenses, and being able to get out there and read books like the E-Myth and some of the other ones that we're reading to really open your eyes up to see what's out there and have that discussion with other people. I know even before we started recording this, we had a really good discussion about a lot of different things. It could have been a whole separate podcast. Should have had that.
Maybe we can title it Vulnerability, right? Yeah. What's going on in Robin Jackson's world?
That has not been recorded yet.
But I do want to just whatever the opposite of preference is, because this is at the end of our podcast here, but the second reading through the E-Myth, looking at this through the eyes of a real solopreneur now and living this world, I read this thing so fast. It was so helpful, so enlightening, and it was fun. And this is not a book that I would pitch to people as fun, but now that I've read it and I have the experience of a business owner and not a quote unquote civilian,
sure.
I have different eyes on this. So if if you haven't read this book or it's been a while since you've read it and you're in a business or in a decision-making capacity in your work role, definitely worth picking up again, in my opinion.
Oh, most definitely. Go through it. Even if you read it 5 years ago and you pick it up again, it's always good to review. And you're at a different place in your life right now than you were back then. You might pick up a couple things that you didn't last time too. So,
and you know what's great about this? Even if you say, "Hey, Rob, Jackson, maybe you're right. I just don't want to read another book," you don't have to. Just show up.
Just show up.
We have, I don't want to say a lot because that's not the case, but I would say at least 25% of our attendees to Beer, Books, and Networking, when we meet on that last Thursday of the month and talk about the book at Bar Louie in Brookfield, about a quarter of the people haven't had a chance to read it, and they get a lot out of it. They ask questions, and they can answer questions from their own life experience. I think a lot of people who haven't read the book have ended up going back and picking it up just to see what we were talking about.
Sure. I've seen it happen quite a bit, too. I was like, I have to go back and get this book, based off of the conversation that they had. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I've got books like that, too. I was like, oh, my goodness, I have to take a look at this again or put that on in my playlist.
Right. So we have our next beer, book, and networking event coming up on the 29th.
August 29th. Yep, 3
coming
o'clock.
Up pretty shortly, 3 o'clock.
Bar Louie,
Brookfield. So
and we're reading
Crushing It
by Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, and I've seen Gary V in my Twitter, or not Twitter feed, in my LinkedIn feed and stuff like that. But I'm having a lot of fun reading this book. I'm not finished with it yet, and I don't want to comment too much on it, but it's a fast read. It's fun, and the back half is all technical strategy, which for me, someone who leverages LinkedIn, Facebook, now on Instagram, it's really been enlightening to kind of get a better feel for what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't want to get too deep into it until the next one. So
yeah, no doubt. All right, so guys, check us out on Facebook, Instagram. I'm out there as well. Check out the Facebook page, and we've already had quite a few people sign up for this month. So we'll see you on August 29th, 3 p.m.
Doing great.
Bar Louie. Come by, stop, have a beer, hang out with some cool people. Thanks, Jackson.
Thanks, Rob. Cheers.